An original podcast from podlatino.com.
It was a sport defined by tradition. Rugby union, with its gentleman's code and amateur spirit, thrived in the shadows of cricket and football. But in the early 1980s, a bold idea began to echo through stadium corridors and boardrooms. What if rugby had its own World Cup? At the time, the very notion was heretical to many. The International Rugby Board, then a conservative collection of unions, feared what a global tournament might mean. Rugby had survived and flourished for decades through test matches and regional rivalries. The Five Nations Championship was a northern powerhouse, while tours between hemispheres gave fans legendary encounters. But a single tournament that crowned a true world champion? That was uncharted territory. It was in the southern hemisphere that the spark truly caught fire. Australia and New Zealand, longtime allies and rivals, recognized that rugby needed to evolve. They saw how the Football World Cup drew in billions. They knew that the Olympics welcomed the world. And they asked, why not rugby? The turning point came in 1983. The Australian Rugby Union and the New Zealand Rugby Union, often at odds on sporting matters, united with a singular vision to propose the first Rugby World Cup. They brought it to the International Rugby Board, hoping to garner support. But England and Scotland, fierce protectors of rugby's amateur roots, pushed back. They argued that a tournament would commercialize the game, distort schedules, and erode tradition. Still, the idea refused to die. France gave its full backing. South Africa, though excluded from international competition due to apartheid, quietly voiced support. It came down to England. And in 1985, after fierce debate, they finally agreed. The vote passed. Rugby's future changed forever. The first tournament was scheduled for 1987. 16 teams. 2 hosts, Australia and New Zealand. Critics remained skeptical. Could rugby attract a global audience? Would players and fans embrace a new chapter? On May 22, 1987, the world found out. New Zealand faced Italy at Eden Park. The All Blacks, led by David Kirk, stunned spectators with speed and power. John Kirwan scored a try that became legend, sprinting nearly the length of the field, dancing past defenders. It was rugby as poetry. As the tournament unfolded, surprises emerged. Fiji played with dazzling flair. Canada brought toughness and grit. France knocked out Australia in a classic semi-final, while England stumbled early. The stage was set for a final between France and New Zealand. On June 20th, in a packed Eden Park, the All Blacks unleashed a masterclass. Grant Fox kicked with surgical precision. Wayne Shelford led with fire. New Zealand triumphed 29-9. The crowd erupted. The trophy was lifted. A world champion crowned for the very first time. But beyond the scoreboard, something had shifted. The Rugby World Cup had proven its worth, not just as a sporting event, but as a celebration of identity, pride, and global unity. The world had witnessed the spirit of rugby on a grand stage. By 1991, the tournament moved north. England hosted, and the competition expanded. Matches were tighter. Tactics evolved. Australia defeated England at Twickenham to claim their first title. Then came 1995. South Africa, newly readmitted to global sport, hosted a tournament drenched in symbolism. Nelson Mandela, in a Springbok jersey, handed the trophy to Francois Pienaar after a thrilling final against New Zealand. The moment became immortal. Rugby had healed divisions. It had told a story far beyond sport. The 1999 tournament introduced a new millennium. France dazzled again. In 2003, Johnny Wilkinson's Golden Boot delivered England's only title in a dramatic extra-time win over Australia. 2007 saw the Springboks rise once more, while 2011 gave New Zealand redemption on home soil. And in 2019, Japan's rise captured hearts, defeating Ireland and Scotland, and showing the sport's true global reach. Today, the Rugby World Cup is one of the most watched sporting events on the planet. From Tokyo to Paris, Cape Town to Cardiff, fans unite every 4 years to witness strength, strategy, and heart. But it all started with doubt, with resistance, with old-school debates in wooden boardrooms. What changed everything was vision, the willingness to see beyond tradition. The birth of the Rugby World Cup wasn't just a tournament, it was a declaration that rugby belonged to the world, that its spirit could transcend borders, that the game could grow without losing its soul. Every tackle, every try, every anthem sung before kickoff echoes back to that bold decision in 1985. And as we look ahead to future tournaments, we remember, great things begin when brave voices ask, what if?